Thanks, Estelle, and thanks for inviting me to this talk. So with on the bus of OpenAI, ChatGPT, so it's very good to come back to some kind of different intelligence, right? I'm about intelligence and morphology here. So let me say hi to on the folks there. I hope you there, Helmut, and Jonathan, Nathan. Hi. It's nice to see you again, and on the folks online too. And today, so I'm also very happy to co-presenting with Fumia. So he also one of my role model in research, and his vision also help shaping my research as well. So let me take the chance to thank Fumia as well. So my talk today is about the adaptive morphology that facilitates the shape, intelligent, resilient human robots coexistence. So Fumia already talked a lot about on the kind of definition, morphological computation, and also on types of the MC, and also his vision as well. So probably I don't need to go that deep into that. Just want a quick introduction about my laboratory. It's just established in 2017 in JAIST, Japan Advanced Institute of Science and Technology. So it's one of the first national university only for graduates study in Japan. And also here we only have master and PhD students, so more focused on the research. So what's morphology? So well, I'm actually the mechanical guy. Okay, so in my point of view, and also Fumia also stated in his previous paper. So when you're talking about the morphology, probably there's another field that's a different definition, but point of view. So when you talk about a robot's morphology, it should include the geometrical spec, including shape, form, something else, and also the mechanical specs, which is also including the materials properties as well. So and so we have many definitions or understanding about the morphology computation. So here we use the word of adaptive morphology, and to see, okay, so it can be intelligence or not. So imagine you have a kind of a fixed morphology, like a rigid robot here, and it tries to interact with the outside environment, and you see here. So usually you need to do a lot of computation, right? For, let's say, position control or force control, right? To make sure the interaction is good. But what if you have a kind of a morphology that just adapt to the environment, right? Without any further control and also computation. So so intuitively you can imagine. So on the computation you used before for the fixed morphology is kind of like offloaded to the body, right? So which means the body itself is also is some part of the intelligence, right? And where the computational burden can be uploaded from the center controller to the morphology, as Rolf also indicated in his famous paper here too. So what is the adaptive morphology in robotics that I found? Maybe this is kind of something related to our previous PhD research, more like 15 years ago. So at that time, we used the soft hemispherical fingertips, right? So on the right side, you see with the green objects, so two soft finger hold an object, right? And with all the disturbance applied to the object, so the object still hold it and be held firmly, right? Imagine if you have two rigid fingertips, right? Even with small disturbance, the object will fall out of the hands, right? Or else you need to do a lot of complicated control to make sure the objects are stable, right? On the left side, you see some kind of like one DOF fingertips, right? Try to hold an object. And what you can see in this case is even with only one rotation for each finger, you actually can do the in-hand manipulation, right? So imagine if you have two rigid fingers here, so and you want to do some dexterous manipulation like that, you need to do very complicated control, and probably you need more DOF for each finger, right? So in my point of view, so morphology can increase adaptivity in the object manipulation at that time, right? And I think soft needs something very interesting. So so far our research is based on what I explained before. So we'll see how we conduct our research here. We care about the body, of course, and also the environment that the robot working with, right? Different to ChatGPT. So our robot had the body and it needs to interact with the physically, right, with the surrounding environment. That's something differentiate the ours robot, right, with the ChatGPT kind of thing. And also we also think that interaction between the body morphology and the environment are very important to realize robotic functions here. So this is the own that we went through when we conduct the research here. And so the hereafter we'll try to use our research and to try to persuade you about what I mentioned here. So as Fumia also mentioned, so there's many kind of adaptive morphology, even using the rigid body, right? With on the hopping robot that Fumia made. But also, as we know, so soft robotics is something very much suitable to conduct or implement the adaptive morphology, thanks to the inherent softness and also deformation as well. And it's also safe and friendly to human, right? Imagine something go inside the body. You don't want it to be too rigid, right? But also it's very challenging to be a completely soft robot. And this is a very nice summary of Cecilia about the series of robot and its softness here. And you can see here it's mostly the mixture between the rigid and soft, right? There's like very rare system we totally soft because we have the computer, everything else as well. So in my point of view, it's very good to introduce the softness to the robot for realization of the safe agile task. So this is what we also focus on. And we focus more on the mechanical approach, right? Not that much on the functional materials here. So currently we focus on the soft sensing, biomimetics, and also interaction as well. And so I try to introduce like most on sensing and biomimetics. If we have time, I can talk a bit about the interaction point as well. So about the soft sensing, so this is also one of my long-term research topic, and also maybe one type of the morphology computation that Fumia also mentioned before. Here, well, about soft sensing, it's not really about make some specific sensor, right? What we really care is about how the softness of the sensor may contribute or realize a different kind of sensing activities, even also with the deformation of the active changing, shape changing, and also dynamic interaction with the environment. So you can see on the left side here, you can see that, okay, any sensor that embedded into the deformable object, it should not be fixed, right? It may change the posture and also the sensing output based on the cell deformation and also interaction as well. So if you can have a system that actually can change, right, the body, you can expect that, okay, with one type sensor, you can actually get different kind of sensing ability. So on the right side, you see the wrinkle structures that we have, and we embedded with the strain gauge here. So usually the strain gauge lie horizontally, and it's very sensitive to the normal indentation, but not the horizontal rubbing action or something like that. But if you like buckle the surface of this structures, so it will create some kind of wave-like wrinkle thing like that. And if you can see here, so depend on the wrinkle, on the wave, so the embedded sensor actually like incline with different angle as well, right? So you can imagine, okay, when it incline like that, any object that's lie horizontally, right? Like also cause very much change in terms of strain. So which means with this postures is very sensitive to the rubbing action, right? And even you pull or you release, changing the length, the sensor also responds as well. So with one kind of sensor, but with different shape changing pattern, right? You can actually select the sensing ability, like sensing the normal or tangential action, or even the cell deformation as well. So this was mostly done by Shukai Kui. So he's now at the Princeton Robotic Lab. So if you have more interest, you can ask him. Okay, so another kind of sensing that we care is actually soft sensors is very much easy to be damaged, right? So in this case, so what should we do, right? We can, okay, so based on the deformation and also morphological optimization. So we find a way that if we locally change the morphology, like routing the strain gauge sensor embedded into a whisker here, right? So when the whisker like broken, right, some part, and by tuning the inner pressure, like surrounding the strain gauge here, so you actually can like compensate for the contact location sensing as well. So this is quite an complicated one, and I cannot explain too in detail. But if you have more interested, so Helmut's also one of our co-authors, so you can ask him there. Okay. So the other one is about the biomimetics, that we also try to use the ideology of the adaptive morphology into creation some kind of bio-inspired system. So we try to see with a different creatures from air, water, and on land, so to realize a different kind of function, right? So we have the we also have the eel-like robot, and we also have the like the grasping wet object, as you can see here. So today I would introduce a bit on the drone one, and also the gripper. So this is the like a PR video that we made for our research. So usually, you know, drone, right? This kind of quite a dangerous object, because when there's collision, they may cause some damage, and the propellers might be broken and the drone drop off, which is more dangerous for the human as well. So here we inspired by the Tombow the dragonfly wings, where they have some kind of hinge that we can actually like soften apart the propeller, and you can see here how the resiliencies that we can obtain for the propeller after the collision. So you can imagine, okay, if you can put these propellers on the drone, even there's some collision, right? And with the belief that the propeller will not be broken, so you can keep the you can like you can change the way or like recover from the collision as well. So this is quite promising if you fly the drone near the human in the future, right? So this is the animation. So let's see about the real system that we propose. So we have the like we just soften the part, right? With some kind of silicon, and also we have some fiber reinforced nylon fiber here, so to actually increase the strength of the propeller. There's some research they try to make totally soft propeller, but in that case, it's very difficult to generate enough thrust. So in this case, you can see here there's a mixture between the rigid and the soft parts, right? So the number 2 and that's where the thrust can be created, and only so when the collision happens, right? So the soft nodes, we call the soft hinge here, will go into action to actually give some releasances after the collision, as you can see. So because the collision also very much diverse, in this case, you can see that in any kind of external stimuli, so the propeller still can be response as well. So so your question is like, okay, maybe I will skip it. Okay, so if this propeller can be used for flying the drone or not, right? So that's why we set up a like very nice experiment to measure the thrust, the noise, and also the collision and the recovery time, a lot of factors here. And also we create some very much many kind of morphology of the propeller to test the durability and the collision resilience as well. So just some part I will introduce here. For here that we have the durability, right? So in this test, so we rotate the propeller like for like 8 hours, right? Consecutively in 8 hours, and changing the RPM, the rotation per minute, to see how it may induce. So you can see here, most of the propeller up to 5,000 RPM, right? Okay, I'm sorry. So this the propeller is a 9-inch. Okay, it's not the big one anyway. So with the 5,000 RPM, so most of the propellers still like survive by after the very long time rotation like that. And at the 6,000 or 7,000 RPM, so at that time you can see there's some detachment, right, at the some junction like that. So it's due to the adhesion and everything as well. So if you can imagine if you have some kind of very neat fabrication of this propeller, you can actually expect for the quite good durability for flying on the drone. And you may have answered question like, okay, is this safe for human or not, right? So we also test something like that. So here we have some sources, okay, and to go in contact with the propeller. So at low rotation, like 1,000 RPM, 2,000 RPM, is still okay, right? We can see here. But with the 5,000 RPM, okay, it's not safe anymore, right? So I cannot say that, okay, this propeller totally safe for humans to interact, but you can expect that, okay, it will reduce the collision force, right? In any case, and we actually measure and we found that, okay, at least 1/3 of the collision force can be reduced by using this soft propeller here. Okay, so here is how we put on the drone on the tracking system, and we also test with the recovery, right, resiliencies of this drone upon the collision. Yeah, so the control also very much simple, right? So by external tracking system, we know where the onset of the collision happened, and we switch to the other control so that to make sure the drone will go back to the previous state before the collision as much as possible, with the belief that the propeller will not be broken. Okay, so the control also very much simple, and maybe something related to type 1, right? The morphological computation, as Fumio mentioned. So this paper actually is a long-term collaboration with Giuseppe in the NYU, and the paper just accepted this year on the TRO. So you can see more in terms of operation in this video, right? So here how with the twist, the folding, bendings, totally okay, and with contact with the soft object, it also can be recovered quite well, right? So and also it's still working for the drone here. 9-inch, it works for the 1.5 kilogram drone, so which is pretty much enough. And also if you can see, the most important is the collision, right? What it happened when after the collision. So we try to fly the drone into the obstacle here, 2-meter high obstacle, and you can see how the drone reacts, right? So usually the drone wouldn't drop, right? Okay, that's something problem with the video. You can see again. So okay, here, something like that, right? So after the collision, so the drone may drop a little bit in terms of height, but after that it can recover from the original state. So so you can implement the drone that will not drop, right? Which I think it should be pretty much big for the system. So it's all about the drone with the deformable propeller, right? So you can see here with the small kind of deformation, right? So you can actually increase the safety and also the resilience of the whole drone, right? Which is very much big for the system. So the other example is I'm talking about our recent development of the soft robotic hand or grippers. So usually, so we see a lot of design in terms of soft robot, right? Hand or grippers, like origami one, the finger one, new nets, and also the recent one with the tangle kind of novel design for the for gripping the objects. But so here, so most of us always think, okay, so soft robot, right? We should be used with the pneumatic system, right? With on-board sensor. So, but sometimes, like let's say if there's some kind of a scratch or hole there, right? So it's done. You cannot work. You cannot make it work anymore, right? with this one. Of course, you can use the cell healing kind of material, but it will take time, right, to recover anyway. So in this case, we inspired by the blossom of the flower. And if you're looking back to the blossom system, right? So you can see that. So it's look like twisting, right? Twisting or rotation kind of thing. And so here we propose rose. We call that rotation-based squeezing gripper, and we try to make it look like rose. Okay, and the name is quite much fit with the shape as well. So we have this normal rotation, but the object with on the buckling of the surface, it actually close the gripper and maybe can embrace the object, right? So this is the working principle, right? With any object, right, that goes into the space caused by the kind of funnel kind of thing, and then you start rotate it, and it will buckle, right, from inside to outside and start to squeeze object. So that time you can be confident to lift the object, right, without any kind of complicated control strategy. So this is design process. So you can see. So this like continuous kind of membrane from inside to outside, look like a flower, right? And also it's like a funnel or kind of thing if you ever see. And the very simple parts, we only have the funnel, we have the fixed base, right? That fix the outer layer, and the inner base that can rotate, right? So you rotate this part, right? You rotate this guy, and then the buckling will happen from inside to outside, and finish with the squeezing the object, right? So the whole idea of the design. We actually have some embedded camera to see some markers if you see the design before. So how the buckle might happen, and how is about the state between the object and the finger as well. So the designs like that are very much simple. And let's take a look at the performance. Okay, fabrication as well. So we actually went through many kind of fabrication method, but it didn't work very well. And eventually we came up with the quite simple fabrication method that we only pour it, right? You pour it from the top, right? And then it getting, due to the gravity, it's going down, cover on the surface, and also it getting also cured, right? After that. Of course, with some under circumstance as well. And if you want to change the thickness, right, you can pour one more time, right, or like 3 times or something like that. And due to gravity, so the tips are way thinner than the base, which is good as well, right, to make the buckle easy to happen. And after that, you just take it out, right, just one shot fabrication, and you get everything for the skin, right. And actually, you can scale this quite simply with this system. And we test with the payloads. So here, with this payload test, like try to pull an object, right? Attach the force scotch here, and surprisingly, so it's only be broken, right? Up to about more than 300 newtons. So let's say, so basically for this pulling test, right, with a very nice condition here, so with the several 100-gram rose gripper, you can grip some kind of 30-kilogram object, okay? I don't say it can grab 30-kilogram object anytime, but in this test, right, so maximally it can go to the 30-kilogram force, so which is quite amazing for the soft object. And also we test the repeatability also, right? One of the nice design about this one, because we use the rotation, right? So you can actually use the rotation from the end effector of the any kind of robot arm. And you can see here it's like a plug and play, right? And you can replace it within like 5 seconds, right? You plug it and then you rotate, and then it works for you. Of course, you need more kind of change in terms of rotation speed, rotation angle, but basically you take very little time for changing as well. So we test with this task, like take an object, putting up, and then release. And I guess how many times we can do we could do. So it can be durable after until 400,000 trials, right? Which is quite much amazing for me as well. And after 4,000 trials, there's some kind of a crack here. But the good thing is, like, because this one has use no air, right? Even with small crack, the buckling is still happen, and you still can grab the object, right, without any kind of changing or complication in control as well. Okay, so this is some kind of demonstration of the grabbing, right? And the related content is presented at ISS this year, and also you get the best system paper award finalist as well. And so you can see here how you can grab an object, right? Place, take it away, place to another one. Quite simple, right? And as long as the object like small enough, like comparable to the size of the thing of the gripper, so you can see that you can actually change, right? And you can grab any kind of like objects, right? Basically, so here we can try with the different kind of fruits, can, and another soft object as well. So you can imagine we can use this for like harvesting the fruits on the trees, something like that, right? And even working at the assembly line as well with all the durability it perform. So it also can work with some granular objects like that. So I mean, with the squeezing thing based on the rotation, well, whatever is inside the gripping space, so it can get it, right? So and also we play with some very difficult task as like taking out the pure boiled egg from the olive oil tanks, which is for humans already very much difficult, right? Because it's very much sleepy and almost impossible to use chopstick in this case, right? But using this one, so because it can squeeze everything right inside, and then so even with very slippery condition like that, so the roll still work and still bring everything in terms of grasping the system, like regarding very simple and design here. So this is also one, I think, very typical example of the type 1 that Fumiya mentioned, right? On how we can simplify on the controller, but still keep the work done, right? So for the robot. Okay, so we have like 5. Okay, still have several minutes left. So I will. Okay, no, okay. So there's some about the interaction that we're trying to do so far. So actually, we want to make the last sensing skin for the robot, right? So usually, as you know, so for the large area skin, you need to tie up many kind of sensing elements, which cause a lot of difficulty in terms of wiring and data processing. And we also, but Baymax, as you know, right? That's something that very much like we wish that it can be in our life, right? So that you can work close to human, interact safely with human, with all the softness and also the whole body tactile sensing like that. So we hope we can do something like this, right? And we all know about the vision-based tactile sensing, like TacTip by Nathan in Princeton Robotic Labs, you know very well, and also gel sign, finger vision, soft bubble, all kind of thing. But this system is only for the like small scale, right? For the human finger, like a robot finger and hand. So so our aim is a bit bigger, like in terms of like whole arm or whole body, right? So but as you know, using the vision-based camera, you can do a lot of things with a simple design, right? And with all the computer vision and machine learning approach so far, I think you can do a lot of things with this, as long as you can give the good design for the system. Okay, so our aim is to like build some system that can be scaled up to the whole robot body, right? Arm, legs, something like that. So so we came up with the like a barrel shape, right? It's like a robot link, or like a human arm or something like that with that shape, right? And we have a soft skin, like quite long here. And also we have 2 camera put it in 2 ends, right? So these 2 camera will track the change of the position of the markers inside, right? And like quite similar to the TacTip anyway. And also based on that, so we can construct the three-dimensional model of the skin, include the deformation, right? So we know where the contact happened and what is the contact depth here. So we actually make one with the bone, right? Because the robot usually, like eventually we need some strength for that. So here because we have two camera here, so we cannot use a normal bone. But if you use some kind of transparent pipe, right, but stiff enough, right, you can let the camera see the soft skin surrounding, but still give enough the stiffness for all the strength for the whole robot. And we hope with the barrel shape we can actually scale up to the whole body of the robot with this technology. So so in terms of fabrication, we also spend a lot of way, but with the technology we have, we can like mold all the markers and also the skin at the same time. So the skin we made here probably like 4 years ago, but it's still here. It still can be used in our system now. So the durability is very much amazing with this fabrication process. So this is our first paper on this system that we use the analytical approach in the term that we have the build-up FEM model, and then we take the deformation information, and then we try to synthesize into the normal force, right, using the FEM method. So this is the real time, right? This is real time, and also you can see how it can detect pretty much the interaction between the object and the body as well. But it's quite slow because, as you know, FEM is very much time consuming in computation. So we came up with another way by develop a digital twin of this one, right? We can create what we use so far to represent all the mechanical properties, and also transfer all the data to the gazebo to actually use the virtual camera model, right, to get the simulated image of this one. So with this pipeline, we can represent all the physical property of the system, even with the skin and also with the contact between the object as well. So here we can collect all the data, we train a technique, and so that we can realize some kind of contact action here. So this is whole pipeline that what we propose. I don't have enough time, but if you want, you can check our recent paper on TRO here. So this is how we can collect the data from SOFA and ROS. And then we train the TechNet here, so which is not that much difficult. So you can see here, so how with this one, we can increase pretty much the sampling rate. With the FEM-based method, maximum only 10 Hertz, but here we can increase up to 120 Hertz or something like that. So, and then we can actually using in some kind of manipulation, stuff like that, right? And also kind of the human like interaction, like the teaching, or like, and also in terms of like safety, right? Because you know the context, so it can like actively change the way of moving, so that to reduce on kind of risk of the interaction. Hi. Okay, so we have also another point. I don't think I have enough time, but here we also implement the proximity for the system. So by changing the transparency of the skin, right, you can see that if the skin is transparent, actually the inner camera can see outside, right? At that time, and when the skin is actually opaque, you can see on the marker. So with same system, you can have tactile and proximity at the same time. So which is very much promising for us. So you can see how our skin can actually switch between the transparent and opaque, like with less than 1 second, right? And with that time, so here we implement some thing that, okay, so like some scenario that when the going through near the robot here with no external camera, right? So we know when it's how to move and when to stop. Okay, I think it's a bit ahead of time. So, but with all the morphological computation, adaptive morphology, bio-inspired, and also the interactive kind of idea here. So we hope in the future we can make some kind of robot like Baymax, right? That can be used widely. with this technology. So with that, I would like to finish my talk and send on thanks to our collaborators, students, and also the funding agencies. Thank you.